It's time to get your checking account to zero with free checking from PenFed. That's zero ATM fees, zero balance requirements, and zero time spent waiting for your paycheck to direct deposit because you can receive it up to 2 days early. Open your account with just $25 and see how big zero can be. Apply online today at PenFed.org/free checking. Early direct deposit eligibility may vary between pay periods and timing of payers' funding. To receive any advertised product, you must become a member of PenFed, insured by NCUA.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to episode 191 of the Mediocre Alaska Podcast. Exciting episode today, at least for me. It's pre-order time for my book, Miserable Paradise, Life in Southeast Alaska. You can go onto Amazon right now and you can pre-order the Kindle version only at this point. Can't do pre-orders for the paperback, but the paperback will be released on April 8th, hopefully, unless there's problems, which happen, right? Problems always arise. So at this point here, you can go and you can pre-order the Kindle version of my book, A Miserable Paradise, about life in Ketchikan, Alaska, from an Alaskan last year, 2020, what it was all like. As I've said before, it was meant to be just chronicling what it is to live in Alaska. It's been kind of interesting to see. I started this podcast in 2017 because it seemed like there was a bit of a void when it came to actual Alaskans telling Alaskan stories. A lot of podcasts started, and then life gets in the way. But there's a multi-million-dollar industry of people coming up to Alaska and telling the story. And so I thought, well, how about Alaskans telling the story? It's great to watch the content and read the articles in magazines and newspapers and books about people who come up here and visit and stay and record hunting trips. It's awesome to see just that excitement of those people who make it work, and it's always been a dream of theirs, and they come up here and they make it work, and they create something and they share it, which is awesome. But there's always been Alaskans who have probably been living really exciting lives and thought, hey, well, how about I tell my story, or how about I tell the Alaska story? So that was the idea behind the podcast. And then, of course, that was the idea behind writing a book last year, about a month-by-month look at what life is like in Ketchikan, Alaska, so you could get the whole feel for what it's like. And it happened to be a COVID year. And so it was crazy. So it's mostly about hunting, fishing, hiking outdoors, and general lifestyle. And then you get some COVID stuff and some teaching stuff in there. So I'm really excited about it. It's definitely the best stuff that I've ever written. Some chapters are obviously better than others, but I've spent more time on this than anything else. So like I said, you can pre-order that on Amazon. And another thing to consider, I guess, is that I haven't asked for, there's no Patreon subscription to this. You're not being charged $5 in order to listen to this. There's no ads that you have to fast forward through. So if you do feel that you want to help out this here podcast and help me get some better equipment, just buy the book. You get a book, and then you can also support the podcast. It's a 2-for-1. It's perfect. So again, you can go to Amazon, pre-order that. I'd really appreciate it, and then help me. I bought some newer gear to put out a better product with some better sound, because I know I've had some sound issues. But to keep this ad-free and to keep it going and support the book, there you go. What better deal, right? What better deal than buy a book? You get the book, you get the words, and then you get to support a podcast. That's perfect. So appreciate everybody who's going to help me through this editing and looking at stuff, and then feedback, man. I tell you what, when you anytime you're doing anything creative, you get that imposter syndrome. You strike out and well, not strike out like 3 strikes and you're out, but you start something and it just, gosh, there's so many times you just feel like this is stupid. There are times during the editing process where I just read stuff and I thought, this is the dumbest thing that has ever been written by anybody ever. And then you kind of walk it off, calm down, and think, yeah, okay, it's not that bad. You could edit that. Or you look back and you just end up cutting. Just cut. Or you read something and you think, what were you trying to do here, man? Like, why are you trying to be overly creative, right? That's not... People read and listen and watch stuff for ideas, right? When you listen to a podcast, they're not just there to listen to you talk. They want ideas. Like, what about my podcast is tweetable, right? I try to come up with some sort of line or some sort of takeaway that makes people think, oh, dude, that was a good one. And would make them say, hey, I was listening to this podcast and this guy was talking about this, something that's worth sharing, something that's worth listening to. A whole bunch of stories of, you had to be there. That's a fun little podcast for you, and your friends to kind of listen to. But as far as reaching an audience, and that's the journalism background that I have, is always considering audience and purpose. Who are you talking to, and what are you trying to say, or vice versa. So
after years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I was hesitant about having to get a new phone and a new phone number, but with Mint, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone and your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That is mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
I've always tried to have some sort of takeaway. And then same thing with the writing. And it can be difficult because you're like, well, what am I trying to say here? Like, what's the point of all this? I'm going steelhead fishing. What's the point? Sometimes it can't be like this lesson or this deep point or this insight to life. Sometimes steelhead fishing is just steelhead fishing. And the purpose is enjoyment. It's not some sort of deep intellectual dive into philosophy. Sometimes it's just as simple as, yeah, man, I went out steelhead fishing and it was awesome. And it could be as simple as that. So, audience and purpose, and why would anybody care about this? Everybody has a story, and everybody has a story that's worth telling. It's just a matter of conveying that, and there's a lot of people who have been on podcasts who have unbelievably interesting stories, and they're so incredibly good at reaching an audience. And that's the type of stuff that I listen to. That's the stuff that I like to read. I'm not a huge fan of kind of just the day by day, here's what we did. I like that. There's just a way that can be written in that is interesting. And that's what I try to do with my writing too, is convey interest. It's not just about me getting this mule deer or this deer or whatever. It's got to be something else to connect to the reader. So when the reader reads it, they think of the time they were doing this. And that's what I want to do with the podcast too, and with the book. And I think I did as good a job, if not better, than I've ever done with just thinking about what I want to convey. And sometimes you don't come up with answers. Actually, a lot of times you don't come up with answers. People who have figured things out or think they have figured things out, sometimes those people are the least trustworthy people around. Sometimes there just are no answers. And being okay with that and asking the right question, or the answer is another question, and think, that's a good point. And it just kind of tapers off. Being okay with that and being comfortable with that. And just maybe the point of the whole thing is to ask a question, So, yeah, I don't know how good of a job I did with selling the book there, but I'm excited for it. And it is now available on Amazon. You can check that out. A Miserable Paradise, Life in Southeast Alaska by Jeff Lund. Check that out. Pre-order that on Kindle. Again, Kindle only. At this point, the release date will be April 8th. And then at that point, you can also order paperbacks. But if you pre-order the Kindle, it'll automatically upload to your Kindle when it releases. And then you have to wait a little bit for the paperback. But it'll be on the way. And there you go. So appreciate you listening. Appreciate you following. And go on Amazon. Check it out.